Unacademy. Let's crack it.
If I come to the book list for prelims and mains, can we go subject wise? Let's discuss like how you prepared for subjects like history, then polity, geography.
Yes. So again, it was a very internet-intensive preparation strategy. So I relied very less on books and more on online resources. So if we talk about history, then obviously I had a look at Spectrum, which everybody does just for the same reason. But I didn't restrict myself to it. Uske baad, I would go online and read a lot of critical perspectives. I didn't read any books apart from Spectrum, but I would read what historians have said about India's independence. What are the some different perspectives that are being conveyed? जो Spectrum नहीं कर रहा. And a lot of that comes from blogs and like just discussion forums. So I can't pinpoint exactly कौन से थे because at that time I would just like look up and see, for instance, if I'm looking at the moderates, the moderates in the initial part of the independence struggle, and Spectrum conveys a very kind of a very typical understanding of what the moderates were doing. But then I would look at biographers of people like Dadabhai Naroji, who obviously I didn't have time to read the entire book, which I just did. But you would find some of the other kind of articles, some concise narrative about how Dadabhai Naroji, he was a very different person than what maybe Spectrum conveys or what other books convey. So the idea is again to be curious, to be intellectually curious, not think of it कि मेरे को exam clear करना है, but just because I want to understand Indian history better. So that's for history. Geography.
For ancient and medieval Indian history, any source?
I looked at the NCRTs, but that was it. I didn't do it in any great depth. I think the old NCRTs are beautifully written. They're very good books, and even the new NCRTs for that matter, they're very different. I think both of them together are excellent resources. But just that the subject didn't really appeal to me at that time. But now I'm very interested in art and culture now for some reason. So this time I didn't really prepare for it.
Now coming to geography.
Yeah, geography, the subject I skipped almost in entirety. So hard to say. I looked at the NCRTs, didn't really understand very much. GC Leong, I think, is a good book. I had a look at it. I think it's just like more, it's more interesting than the NCRT. So GC Leong was one thing I referred to, but by and large, please don't follow anything I say on geography because I skipped this portion for good measure.
Okay. Polity?
Polity, yes, I think Lakshmikant is a very well written book. I refer to it almost exclusively for prelims. But apart from that, as I said, PRS and Indian Express Explained and articles in the Hindu by, say, Faizan Mustafa and lots of other, Madhavan writes great op-eds in the Hindu and the Express. So the idea for polity is, I think polity is a subject that is, you can't do Lakshmikant for mains in polity. It is just a very evolving subject. You have to read बहुत सारी चीजें जो भी चल रहा है news में. Everything is related to polity.
Like for international relations, we need to follow so many online sources and magazines.
Yeah. Definitely. I think same for IR as well. No book for that. The Diplomat. I'm also in a habit of reading international newspapers, so I would read The Economist quite regularly, quite religiously, even though it's not necessary. But The Economist is the best international affairs magazine in the whole world. That's what I believe. So if you can have a look, then definitely have a look at those articles. But from an Indian perspective, reading IR, The Diplomat is good. Then Indian Express, all the newspapers, everything that is happening is good. What else for an ORF does a very good job of reporting on some political issues and on some international relations issues. You can even pick up books if you have time by people like Ambassador Sham Saran and Ambassador Shashankar Menon. They've written very readable books, so that gives you a good perspective.
Okay, so what about economy?
So I come from a very economics heavy background, so this was never a subject that I was worrying about. Yeah, मैंने कुछ ज़्यादा पढ़ा. So it was just current affairs, a lot of current affairs, and again, whatever's happening in the news, I would follow whatever website, whatever newspaper. Again, I think
that magazine Yojana. Have you read that Yojana?
Yeah, I had a look. I think it's a very uninteresting magazine, to be very honest. Very government speak kind of magazine. You can have a look at it if you want, but lots of interesting material is out there as well.
Okay, so art and culture, you totally skipped that particular part, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Then science and technology.
Science, I would read Down to Earth a lot. I think Down to Earth has some good articles on this, and then again, whatever is happening in the news. I would also read MIT Technology Review from time to time. That is a good source for understanding what is science, what is technology, what is happening in the space field. Just, I mean, this is a subject that I find कि बहुत मुश्किल है UPSC के लिए पढ़ना. I mean, science and tech is such an interesting subject on its own that you will end up spending lots of time reading about it. So the best strategy is again to look up videos, explainers, current affairs as well. कि अगर nanotechnology है तो what's been happening in the field, what are the major innovation, what are the major challenges, and वो सब चीजें आपको तभी आएंगी जब आपका इंटरेस्ट भी थोड़ा बनेगा and जब आप एक्चुअली देखोगे कि नेट पे क्या क्या सोर्सेज चल रहे हैं.
What about CSAT, sir?
So I didn't do CSAT because I mean I had a very mathematical background. I didn't need to do CSAT, so that's something I didn't prepare for.
Okay. And for ethics?
For ethics, again, no specific book. I just looked up terms online, and as I said before, I mean, there are a lot of interesting case studies online that you would find. That is the first thing. Second thing is to read Memoirs of Civil Servants. That is something I was doing before that, and I would read memoirs even during my preparation stage. Then I would also read books like Justice that are beautiful books. And ultimately, I think for this one paper, the advice I give is कि इसमें ज़्यादा theory और philosophy डालने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. It's a very practical paper. Please take it that way. It doesn't require any specialized preparation, if you ask me. I think it is just about introspection and thinking कि Indian bureaucracy में क्या problem है, जो सबको ही पता है more or less. But हाँ, I think it's just about structuring your thoughts and writing good answers.
Okay.
यूपीएससी सीएसई की प्रिपरेशन प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस के बिना इनकम्प्लीट है, इसलिए अनअकैडमी पे अभियान T20 जैसे डेली टेस्ट्स आपको यूपीएससी सीएसई की प्रिपरेशन को स्ट्रेंथन करने में सपोर्ट करते हैं। एडिशनली, आप हर वीक अनअकैडमी कॉम्बैट देकर अप टू 100% स्कॉलरशिप भी अवेल कर सकते हैं। टेस्ट स्टार्ट करने के लिए अपने होम पेज पर स्क्रॉल करें और ट्राई अ मॉक टेस्ट पर क्लिक करें। अभियान टेस्ट को सेलेक्ट करें, टेस्ट पे टैप करें और स्टार्ट टेस्ट से स्टार्ट करें। सो करिए आज ही शुरुआत इंडिया के अनअकैडमी फ्री टेस्ट सीरीज के साथ। लेट्स क्रैक इट।